My name is Sitamulaho. I'm an associate director with Deloitte and Touché in Zambia. I'm the Pestalozzi board chair. So this is a good opportunity to come and introduce myself and hopefully get people to know a bit about me. I joined Pestalozzi board. I think I've been there now for maybe 3 to 4 months. So I'm a new board chair. I'm joining a board which has been in existence for a while. But we obviously are looking for some new board members, and I feel this is an opportunity to actually sell Pestalozzi and see if people can join us. How well describe our children? I think these are very bright young people who are coming from, troubled places where they don't have the opportunities, but they are willing to learn. They are willing to put themselves out there. So very brave young people. What I would say is for us is just giving them the opportunity to shine. So they are willing to do it. I've interacted with them. It's very exciting being in that village and talking to them, and listening to their ambitions and dreams. So it's just to see them realize those dreams is something that I'm really looking forward to. So yeah, very excited. So I would summarize to say, very bright young people who are going to change the world. Yeah. So the reason I think Pestalozzi is a very important charity is because I think the work they do is quite unique. On the surface of it, it looks like what every other NGO and charity organization is doing, but it's the how which really makes a difference. I think as an organization, I think for most NGOs, the biggest challenge they have is how do you assess the impact that you are making in whatever community or project that you've done. But Pestalozzi, that assessing that impact is real life. The impact that you get out of it is something that actually affects the world around us. So we get kids who are very smart, and we target very smart kids, which is very different from what most organizations would go, because you would go in a village and you get all the people there. But here we're saying let's pick out those who we feel can perform at a certain level, and we get those people and put them in an environment where we give them the skills, and then the impact is once they grow up, we'll see what impact they make in the world. So it is very unique in that way, and I feel that is the biggest differentiator. And obviously, the way it's structured, most of the charities would be, let's send these people to the UK, to America to go and learn, and then they come back. But that's also an opportunity which comes up for other countries, brain drain for Africa and our country, because most of the times those people never come back. But here we've got education happening right here. Most of those people tend to stick around and contribute to our environment here. So I think those are the two key differentiators, and I feel that's the reason why people should really be on board and support Pestalozzi. So for alumni, what I feel is really important for them, first of all, is to really think about the experiences that they've had. I mean, what we're talking about here, these are very smart people who've gone through a system where they've been exposed to things that normally, other people come to experience when they're older. As you tend to come to live in a community with other people when you're slightly older. So those dynamics of how to interact with other people, you don't really appreciate those until you get to that point where you go to university, for example. Now here we've got a crop of people who've actually gone through this experience when they're young. They've had formed relationships, they work together, team working. They're understanding also the importance of discipline, understanding the importance of education, and looking at how that works. So for me, I think for the alumni, the important thing is they need to find a way to implement those things. I think just the other day we had a discussion with somebody, one of my friends, talking about where we see the world going, especially with the artificial intelligence, which is a big story with the chat GPT, where we feel that they might take up the humanity of it all. So if you look at where the world is going, where there's a lot of disconnect, the humanity side is getting lost in a way. You have a lot of systems which are corrupt in Africa. You've got pretty much everywhere else. You've got people who are very disconnected, who don't have the heart for what they're doing. But here we've got kids who've raised, who've got that heart. And what I would want the alumni to actually implement is bring that heart to these systems. They should be getting in these organizations. They should be supporting other people with a passion that they've been raised with. They've got the head beat, they're smart, the hands, they've got the skills, but the heart is what is missing in everybody else. So for me, I feel that is a huge opportunity for alumni to impact the world in that way. How I got involved in Pestalozzi Zambia was we got a request from Pestalozzi UK looking for support from Deloitte. I think Deloitte in the UK, we've been working with Pestalozzi um, in terms of supporting them with the activities there. So they did reach out to see in Zambia if they've got somebody who's interested in joining the board and can bring in a different element to it. So there was a number of people who were interested. We sent our CVs in terms of who was interested. I think my CV did stand out, mainly because for me, what Pestalozzi does is something that I've been passionate about for a long time. It's something that has helped me to get where I am. When I was growing up, pretty much going to school was something that was so enjoyable for me. Was pretty much an A student throughout. But my parents never really had money, especially when my dad passed away. My mother never had money. So I relied on a lot of charity from family, from friends, to get where I was. So to see how Pestalozzi is structured, that is something that I thought I really need to be part of it. Yeah, so I think Pestalozzi, where I would say would want to take it, I found it in a good place. I have to acknowledge that, where I've found it and the people that have actually pushed it to where it is, I've done a really good job. I mean, where we've got a village there, we've got a school which is supporting the village to a certain extent. We've got a huge, group of alumni who have gone through that school. We've seen it transform from a small, dormitory to a huge school with sports fields and everything. So a lot of work has been done, and my role coming in has really been, first of all, on the governance side to get things right, being a governance expert and risk expert, is to see how we can bring in a structure from that angle. But then is to see how going forward, how can we make the school sustain the village 100%, and how can we get in more children in the school, in the village. And the big thing for me as well is how can we get the ethos of the school, of the village, into the school. I believe the parents who are bringing children to that school, they come in because they understand what our ethos is and what our values are, and they want their children to be raised that way. Yeah, so the exciting opportunity is we can get more kids. There's an opportunity that we can get the school to support us, that we get more kids. I think that it's been a limiting factor. If we can do that, I think that is something that would definitely be useful. And from the looks of things, pretty much everybody's on board in terms of trying to make that work. So if that happens, that would be good. And also, if we can assist our alumni to get scholarships, even beyond university, if we can find a way to support them in activities that they are doing, I think that will also be very useful. I think we've got a good alumni network. We've got people, but I think we need to probably just be a bit more deliberate in terms of how we support them with some of the choices that they have. So giving them opportunities. So for example, if they're interested in speaking, try to create those platforms. When we're hosting things, we can bring them to interact with other people. For us in different organizations, we can introduce them within the organization where, even temp jobs, just to come and get an idea of what we do. So I think there is an opportunity on there, and I think within the next few years that's something that we can work on. I believe, for this board, one of the things that is really key is that passion and that heart and the care for the children. I did touch on my background a bit. What I didn't say about my background is it is slightly more complicated than that. Just to put it in perspective, From grade 1 to grade 7, I probably attended maybe 6 schools. So, which means I lived in 6 different places at that particular age because of the nature of my dad's job. So he tended to move every 3 months, 1 year, 2 years, he'd move to a different place. And the last place we went to was his village in Mongo. From there, then he got transferred to go to Dar es Salaam, where we spent a year, and then he passed away in that year. So we had to come back, and we went through that. At the time in the 80s and 90s, there was a common practice here in Zambia where families would take away your goods. So whatever you have, your family of the deceased would take it away, and they say they'll keep it for the kids. So we came back after having left my dad's village, which means everything we had left was left there. So we never got a chance to get anything. So we had to start a life without anything. And my mom was an accountant, but because of the movement, she never got to practice because she couldn't get a job every time we move every 2 months, 3 months. So this was a woman who never had a job, and then she had to look after 6 kids. So coming from from that background, um, it's really something that I'm very passionate about, to see that these kids get those opportunities. Because for me, the only thing that kept me was because I was smart enough. People were willing to give their last money to send me to school, help me buy books. I was saying the results, they were very impressed with those results. But then later on, once I was a bit older in secondary school, I went to DK. From there, managed to get a scholarship with the mines. And from there, pretty much everything I started paying through just education. So you get a scholarship. There are 36 people chosen to go and study from I think there were about 3,000 of us. So I was one of those 36 people. That's how I found myself in the UK. And then from then onwards, I've just been able to look after myself. Um, so I do value education. I do value the life skills that come with it. And if we look at our Pestalozzi Children, that is something that we're emphasizing on. Life is not just about, it's not one dimensional. There are challenges. These are kids coming from challenging homes. They are smart kids. Obviously, we're going to get bored easily. But then, giving them this opportunity where they live in a comfortable area, in a comfortable environment, a safe environment, and they tend to, get that opportunity to shine, to become who they, whatever they want to be. So I find that, that is something that has attracted me to Pestalozzi. And that's something that I would encourage anybody who wants to get involved to think about, their life experiences and how it changes people, how it changes these kids. So the educational side of it and all these skills that we're giving them and how that will impact. So it has helped me a lot, and I feel it's important that, if there's such an environment, we support it. And I think one of the things we talked about is in terms of if we're getting in new board members. So I would encourage, if the new board members, people are interested, that is something that they need to think about. How these children are going to impact the world. We've talked about, there's a lot of conflict everywhere. People are becoming very individualistic, but then we're raising this group of kids who understand what working together means, who understand what having a heart for something means, caring for somebody else, caring for the next person. So I think it's a worthy cause. It's something that I would encourage a lot of people to support, organizations, individuals, in whatever way, whether it's monetary or even just time. Just come and spend time, or just visit the village. Just come and talk to the kids. Hey, support our alumni. I mean, our alumni are ready to make a difference. It's just giving them that opportunity to do it. So I think that's something I thought I should talk about. So yeah, I did touch a bit on that. I mean, in terms of the skills that I've had in my career, I think the biggest thing is working for a multinational organization. You do understand that you don't sit in a silo. You're forced to appreciate working as a team. You're forced to appreciate that you can't be the knowledge of everything. So you consult, that to achieve an objective, we work as a team. So those sort of skills are the skills that are needed for a board, because it's a group of people who are coming. Each one is passionate about the organization and they want to see the best of it. So as the chair of the board, my role is to make sure that I have the right people around me, people who are passionate about it with different skills that they can sort of impart and contribute to on the governance side or the village, the finance. So those the skill of getting people together and making them work as a team, I think is something that I really appreciate from my professional side, because I have to manage my internal clients who are the auditors who've got deadlines. I've got 4 or 5 people. I've got deadlines. I need to manage that. I need to make sure that I deliver. I've got my own external clients who are pushing as well. I've got people in other offices because I do have other roles that I have taken up within the organization. Got a lot of, so that juggling of things around is really quite key, and I feel something that would be very valuable in bringing to the board. Don't have too many projects that I'm working on. The really key things that I've been doing at the moment is my wife is just setting up a business. So it's something that she's been doing for the last 3 years or so. She's at, baking cakes for people birthdays. And so now we're trying to formalize and structure it as a business and just coming up with those unique selling points. And so it's been quite exciting to go through that journey. So we are hoping within this year we'll get to set it up and see how it works. So that's been my project. The other thing I've been working on is doing a blog. One of the things that I appreciate, which I don't see much in our environment, and which even the kids are not picking up a lot, is just the critical thinking. We've got the issues that we discuss, which I feel are so artificial because we don't really discuss the issues. So, and I feel it's important if I can help people to just understand how to critically, discuss a point by getting to the root of it, and so that once you have that discussion, you actually come up with something. I feel maybe that could be useful, but I don't know how exciting it would be, because it does sound quite serious, and I feel people feel, it needs to be a fun thing. So find a way to make it fun, but I feel it's something that would really benefit people just to understand. And with social media around, there's a lot of reaction to everything. So if you can get people to actually analyze things and come up with solutions which help, move forward the discussion out. Yeah. So I've been putting ideas together, but so I don't know whether it to come out or not. But yeah, that's something I've been doing. And I think that is a skill that is useful. It's a skill that we get to learn when we're a bit older, but I feel it's something that we should have known when we're very young. So how to analyze an issue, how to find solutions to that. Yeah. So we'll see if that happens.